murder of 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey captivated the nation and put her family under the microscope, with many speculating that her father, mother, brother, or all three were involved in her killing.
How did you feel seeing her?
A lot of sadness. I don't think I really fully grasped, like, after this, I won't see her again.
JonBenet Ramsey was just 6 years old when her life was tragically cut short. For years, her family has endured painful accusations and questions surrounding her death. Now, after remaining silent for 28 years, her brother Burke is speaking out, sharing truly heartbreaking details. Join us as we uncover the real story behind the death of this beloved child star. Burke Ramsey's revelation. Almost 3 decades ago, the tragic story of JonBenet Ramsey captivated the world, leaving many in sorrow. At just 6 years old, her life was cut short when her body was found in her family's basement, turning a festive holiday season into a painful reminder of loss. Recently, her older brother Burke has bravely decided to share his experiences, providing insights that many find compelling. In 1996, when the tragedy unfolded, Burke was merely 9 years old and became engulfed in media scrutiny, often portrayed as a potential key witness. Questions swirled around the family's home. Who could have entered, and was the threat external or internal? Now in his late 30s, Burke recently opened up in an interview with Dr. Phil, reflecting on the haunting memory of standing at JonBenet's funeral and the realization of death he grappled with as a child. He vividly remembered the sorrow of that moment, while also recalling JonBenet as a vibrant beauty queen whose life was tragically cut short. Reports of her brutal death are a nightmare for any family to bear. Complicating matters was a chilling ransom note demanding $118,000, a figure linked to a bonus John Ramsey had received. The note's complexity led investigators to suspect that the perpetrator was someone familiar with the home. Yet Burke, the quiet boy who seemed to sleep through the chaos, became an unwarranted target of suspicion. Burke's decision to share his story sheds light on the human side of this tragedy, reminding us of the emotional toll and the possibility of healing amidst the sorrow and confusion. There was a lot of speculation about whether Burke Ramsey understood what happened the night his sister, JonBenet, was killed. When asked if he hit her with a flashlight or bat, he strongly denied it, saying he was in bed and confused about the noise downstairs, worried there might be an intruder. Some people noticed that Burke sometimes smiled during interviews, but experts said those smiles likely came from nerves, not happiness. His first public comments garnered significant media attention because he had never previously spoken about the incident. The media frenzy had a profound impact on the Ramsey family. John Ramsey shared a painful moment when Burke saw a newspaper headline accusing him and burst into tears in a grocery store. Even with all the pressure, John and Patsy Ramsey worked hard to protect Burke and keep his life as normal as possible. Investigators found possible evidence in the house, including a flashlight and a paintbrush, but there were no signs of forced entry. This led them to focus on the family, with some speculating that Burke might have accidentally harmed JonBenet, but they found no solid evidence to support this idea. Since then, Burke has lived a quiet life as a software engineer. When he finally spoke publicly about the case, experts analyzed his body language, while the mystery of JonBenet's death remains unsolved. The Boulder police chief has reminded everyone that the case is still open, and investigators continue to seek justice for JonBenet. Burke's recent statements and his father's heartfelt comments have raised many questions about the allegations against the family, suggesting that we may be close to uncovering the truth. The fight for justice. John Ramsey struggles with the unbearable thought that the person who murdered his daughter, JonBenet, is still at large. He feels deep pain because justice has not been served, and believes that if law enforcement had done their job correctly from the start, they would have found the true culprit. Instead of focusing on the real suspect, investigators accused the family, especially John and his late wife, Patsy. This created a cloud of suspicion that isolated them during their grief. John recalls the exhausting burden of facing these accusations while trying to cope with their loss. They not only lost their daughter, but were also seen as suspects by those meant to help. This situation felt like a never-ending nightmare. John thinks this focus on the family hindered the investigation, causing a disregard for other possible suspects and leads. As time passed, the damage from these early mistakes grew. Investigators became defensive and unwilling to admit error. Instead of seeking new help or looking at the case with fresh eyes, they stuck to a path that led nowhere. For John, their stubbornness has been a significant barrier to justice. He remembers how the public scrutiny took a heavy toll on Patsy, who died from cancer in 2006 without knowing the truth. John is shocked that the same investigators still oversee the case. He questions why no new people with modern skills have taken over to support the investigation. It appears they prioritize their reputation over finding the actual criminal, thereby delaying justice. John also recognizes how the public views the case. The family was targeted early on, leading to widespread rumors and negative media portrayals, which made it difficult for people to focus on the facts. Despite everything, John remains hopeful. He believes advancements in forensic science, particularly in DNA testing, could lead to discoveries. He hopes that new investigators will re-examine the case with fresh perspectives and improved tools, potentially uncovering the truth. For John, solving JonBenét's murder is not about revenge but about achieving the justice she deserves and preventing other families from suffering similarly. It's about ensuring that the person who did this cannot hurt anyone else. After 28 years, the case still holds interest, and John's recent comments on DNA evidence suggest that the truth might soon come to light. Stay tuned for updates. The death of a smiling child star. If JonBenet Ramsey were alive today, she would be turning 35. Instead, she is remembered as the vibrant girl who tragically lost her life at just 6 years old. On December 26, 1996, her body was discovered in her family's basement, having been beaten and strangled. Her case became infamous, remaining unsolved more than 25 years later. The chaos began on Christmas morning when her parents found a ransom note demanding $118,000 for her safe return. Within hours, the crime scene was compromised when police failed to secure the home properly. JonBenét's father, John Ramsey, discovered her body after a detective suggested he search the house. This moment of hope quickly turned to despair as he faced the reality of her death, feeling wrongfully blamed while the actual culprit remained at large. The investigation was marred by leaks and sensationalized media attention that led many to blame JonBenét's parents for her participation in beauty pageants. Patsy Ramsey died from cancer in 2006 without ever knowing who harmed her daughter. In 2008, DNA evidence cleared John and Patsy, but the case remained unresolved. A breakthrough occurred in 2018 when advanced DNA technology led to the capture of a long-sought criminal, reigniting John's hope for answers. DNA expert Cece Moore believes she could identify the suspect if given access to the evidence. John is eager for the Boulder police to retest all DNA samples using modern methods, but he feels they are reluctant due to past suspicions about him and Patsy. He has reached out to Colorado's governor for assistance in gaining access to the samples and remains determined to find JonBenét's killer, motivated by the support from the public. Old recordings from former detective Lou Smith continue to inspire hope that answers may still come. The quest for justice for JonBenet continues. The current state of JonBenét's case. John's life has been filled with heartbreak over the past 28 years. Losing his daughter, JonBenet, was an unimaginable pain, and he later faced the loss of his wife, Patsy, to cancer. Instead of receiving comfort, he found himself judged and scrutinized by the media. Even after remarrying, Jan and the tabloids continued to invade their lives. Despite these challenges, John has remained hopeful about uncovering the truth behind his daughter's death. He has criticized the Boulder police's handling of the case but admired retired detective Lou Smith, who believed that the Ramseys were not responsible and that an outsider had broken in that night. Lou's unique approach, combined with his impressive record of solving cases, led him to conclude that the evidence pointed away from the family. Unfortunately, he faced opposition from local police and left the official team after a year. He continued investigating on his own, gathering tips and compiling a suspect list that the police had ignored. Before he passed away in 2010, Lou shared this list with his daughter Cindy, who is now continuing his work. Cindy is collecting DNA samples from potential suspects, hoping that advancements in DNA technology could finally bring justice for JonBenet. John also holds on to hope, but fears that without access to the DNA evidence, the case may remain unsolved forever. When he reflects on JonBenet, his voice trembles with sorrow. He wishes he could tell her he's sorry for not protecting her, but he finds comfort in knowing she was deeply loved. As we reflect on the heartbreaking story of JonBenet Ramsey, we encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Burke's revelations? If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more in-depth stories like this one. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the following video.